So hi, I'm Annie and this is Smashing Pumpkins Siamese Dream. I first started listening to Smashing Pumpkins like more than like 1979, probably when I was like 15, but like this album in particular, like my senior year of high school is the first time I remember listening to it in full when I was going through like a weird grunge phase. And like they're kind of the only band for me that like after that phase happened that's like stuck with me. There are two big ones for like different reasons, but Mayonnaise, because that's a ridiculous song title, and I like looked up why he named it that, and like according to him he just looked in his fridge and was like, I'm gonna name this song Mayonnaise. But I just think that's like an incredible song. It's like one of my favorite songs of all time, and I think it's like become one of their more popular songs, like as like their music has continued on. But that song, and then the song Luna, because it's like the sweetest song ever, and like no one's ever gonna be crazy enough to like want to marry me, but if they are, like that's my first dance song at my wedding. Like it's so like simple but like romantic and sweet, and like Billy Corgan like getting cheesy and just like singing about how much he loves someone is such a nice sentiment. So yeah, Luna's probably, Mayonnaise is like one of my all-time favorite songs, but like I don't know, there's something about Luna that like it's wonderful. So. And then also what I really love about this album too is that like it was Billy Corgan's kind of like big FU to like the indie world, and he was like, oh, we want to be mainstream and we're gonna do that, and he like pissed off a bunch of people with it. It is so interesting that this was like a very deliberate attempt to like move away from like the indie rock scene and to like get more mainstream. And like I just like what I've like known about the recording process, it was like a little like tumultuous. Like Billy Corgan was like pretty depressed during it, and it was like not the most pleasant experience. But I do think it's really interesting like that literally like I think it was like Bob Mould or something like called them like the monkeys of grunge. like basically calling them sellouts, and that like they weren't like living up to like grunge, but like they clearly didn't want to do that. And I think like that's a pretty awesome like step for a band that's like doesn't have a mainstream sound, but to just be like, we're gonna be mainstream, and then they did it, and I think that's awesome. So, and I feel like as their sound has like progressed with like Melancholy, like that was pretty mainstream, like 1979 is on there, and so I think this maybe just was like just a starting point kind of, and like a middle ground between like grunge, indie rock, college radio band to like more mainstream, like not pop, but like pop sound, more like pop sounding. There's so much about it. I was thinking about it like when I was like, what is my favorite album of all time? And I was like, this is it, because it's like one of those albums that like soundtracks so many things for me. So it's like it soundtracked like my senior year of high school, and like that's obviously very distinct, and like I don't know, I have like so many moments with this album where it's like either like the person who I'm listening to it with, or just like the moment in time that I'm listening to it, I'm like, oh, like that was perfect, like that song playing in that moment was perfect.